Tonight, you will lie down in the dark. You will close your eyes. You will become, for 7 or 8 hours, the most defenseless animal in the history of the planet. No claws, no armor, no night vision, just a soft body, breathing slowly, completely unaware of the world around it. And yet, you will wake up fine. You always do. But the real answer for why is far stranger than "it's just safe now." Because for almost the entire span of human existence, it wasn't safe. Not even close. Picture your ancestors 200,000 years ago. No locked doors, no walls. Just a fire maybe, and the open dark pressing in from every side. Lions, hyenas, leopards that can climb a tree with a body twice their weight in their jaws. All of them awake at night. All of them capable of ending a human life in seconds. And yet, humans slept anyway. Deeply. Predictably. Every single night. Why would evolution allow that? Here's the strange part. Sleep should have been edited out of us. Any trait that leaves an animal blind, deaf, and immobile for a third of its life should get punished hard by natural selection. A zebra that slept like a human would not last a season. So why do you still do it? Why didn't evolution simply remove the habit and replace it with something safer? The answer starts with a researcher named Jerome Siegel, a sleep scientist at UCLA. Siegel didn't study people in labs. He studied 3 of the last hunter-gatherer societies on Earth: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, and the Tsimane of Bolivia. Groups still living even now, without electricity, without walls, without locks. Groups sleeping the way your ancestors slept for hundreds of thousands of years. What he found broke almost every assumption modern people have about ancient sleep. These groups didn't sleep more than you. They slept less, around 6 to 7 hours a night, often lighter and more broken than industrialized humans. They didn't have a fixed bedtime either. They drifted off well after sunset and woke before sunrise, staying alert to sound in a way no city dweller ever has to be. Sleep for them was never full surrender. It was closer to a dimmer switch than an off switch. That distinction matters more than it sounds. A gazelle sleeping in open grass keeps one ear tuned to danger the entire night. Dolphins take this even further. They only rest half their brain at a time, keeping one eye open, literally sleeping with half a mind on watch while the other half shuts down completely. Humans do a milder version of the same trick. Your brain does not sleep at a single flat depth. It cycles. Light stages, deep stages, light again. And during those lighter stages, your senses stay online just enough to notice a change in the environment, a shift in temperature, an unfamiliar sound, a shape moving where nothing should be moving. This is why an unfamiliar house feels different on the first night you sleep there. Researchers at Brown University found something they now call the first night effect. One half of the sleeping brain, usually the left, stays measurably more alert than the other in an unfamiliar setting, almost standing sentry while the rest of the brain rests. It fades after that first night, once the space feels known. Your ancestors likely lived inside a permanent, milder version of this, never fully certain the cave, the ridge, or the tree line was safe, never fully switching off. But watchfulness alone doesn't explain why predators mostly left sleeping humans alone. Something else was doing the heavier lifting, and that something was each other. This is where a Duke University evolutionary anthropologist named Charles Nunn enters the story. Nunn studies sleep not as a private, individual event, but as a social structure, something built and defended by a group, not a body. His research compared sleep patterns across dozens of primate species and found a consistent pattern. Species that sleep in groups, with sentries and shifting rest schedules, are dramatically safer at night than solitary sleepers. Not because any one sleeper is well defended, because the group as a whole never goes fully dark. Apply that to early humans, and the picture changes completely. A human alone in the open at night was extraordinarily vulnerable. A group of 15 to 30 humans, clustered close, with someone always stirring, a baby always shifting, a fire always crackling and occasionally flaring, was a different animal altogether. Predators evolved to hunt by reading patterns. Stillness, silence, isolation. A sleeping human group offered none of those signals cleanly. There was noise, there was movement, There was the unpredictable flicker of firelight catching an eye at the wrong moment. To a predator scanning for an easy, isolated kill, that noisy cluster read less like food and more like risk. This is also why isolation feels so much more frightening than crowding, even now. You have felt it. A quiet house at 2 a.m. feels heavier than a house full of breathing, shifting family members. That is not superstition. That is a very old, very accurate threat calculation still running quietly in the back of your mind. Fire changed the equation again. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham has argued that the controlled use of fire may be one of the single most important turning points in human evolution, not just for cooking, but for sleep itself. Before fire, sleeping on the ground at night was a genuine gamble. After fire, humans could push predators back from camp, extend the length and depth of sleep, and free up energy that used to be spent staying half alert through the darkest hours. Deeper sleep meant more time in the restorative stages your brain actually needs. Memory consolidation, emotional processing, physical repair. Fire didn't just keep you warm, it may have upgraded the entire quality of human sleep across the species. So the honest picture is this. Predators didn't ignore sleeping humans out of any polite respect for our species. Humans built the conditions that made ignoring them the smarter move. Groups instead of individuals. Firelight instead of darkness. Light, cyclical sleep instead of total shutdown. Layer these together, and the math shifts. The risk of attacking a human camp at night went up. The reward went down. And predators, like any efficient hunter, follow the math. None of this vanished when the walls and locks arrived. You still check a room before you fully relax in it. You still sleep lighter the first night somewhere new. You still feel that specific ancient discomfort of being the only one awake in a silent house. Your body is still running calculations that were built for a fireside camp, not a bedroom with a deadbolt. So tonight, when you turn off the light and let your guard down, remember what is actually happening underneath that quiet moment. It is not surrender. It is a very old, very careful negotiation your species has been running for 200,000 years. Between rest and risk, between silence and safety. And every single night, without realizing it, you win that negotiation again.